Hey guys, so in this lecture what we will see is another real world example where we will try to create a modal. You would have seen a lot of websites having pop-ups and that make you take an action. So you can easily create a modal using JavaScript, CSS and HTML. So let me just quickly show you what we are going to do. So when I click this, something comes up and you can close it, or when you click outside the box, it shuts down. So I have already prepared the skeleton and everything is in place. So this is the modal class that displays, and see if you can see that I have hidden it by default so that it is always hidden when it start with. Then there is some modal content, the close button, modal header, footer and the body. And this is the skeleton HTML. Now, so we have the HTML, the CSS, and this button doesn't work. Now that's where we start our coding. So let me just walk you through what we have. So we have a div, which is class modal, which has a styling. We have a button, which is open modal, which you can see here. And on click of this button, we will actually display this modal. So right now the modal display property is set to hidden or none. And once we click this, we need to flip the modal's display property. The background will also come in picture. So whenever you have a modal displayed, the background will also be in picture. So you can see the background color, the fallback color with the opacity. So the entire background will be like 0.4 opaque. And then we have the header, body and the footer in the modal, and they have styles for these separately. And we also have a close button on the header. So when you click the close button, the modal should close. So that's the skeleton of our modal. Now let's try to first get the elements that we need. So first we need is the modal. So let's try to get the modal, and the way we can get it is variable modal is equals to document dot get element by ID. I can say my modal. Similarly, let's try to get the button. So let's say button is equals to document dot get element by do I have the ID? Yes, my button ID by ID, and that's my button. So I have the modal, I have the button. Okay, so when we click the button, we need to start displaying the modal. So we need to update the modal's property, which is my modal. It has by default display as none. We need to start displaying it as a block. So how do you do that? You do a button dot on click is equals to a function, and then in the function what you will do is modal dot style dot display is equals to block. Let's try to click this. Fantastic, the modal comes up. We still don't have all this working, which is the close button, or you click outside. So the way you can get it to work is first you need to get the close button. So let's try to get the close button. Variable close is equals to document. Now we don't have an ID on the close because it's a span. So the way you can get it is using the close class. So how do you get it? Get element by class elements by class name, and then here you pass in the class as close. Now remember, whenever you do a get elements by class name, elements is plural, which will return you an array. So when you need to get the first element of the array, you do a 0th element. So that way you can get the close block. Now whenever you have the close dot on click, which means the close button is clicked, again you have a function that you can give. And in this function what you can do is you can change the property of the modal back to none, which means display it as none. So this modal should work again. Let's try to run. Let's close it. It works. Open, close, works, right? But what if I click outside the modal? Nothing happens. In this scenario, you need to monitor the Windows click event. And how do you monitor the Windows click event? Okay, so the way we get the window to close is you need to monitor the click event on the entire browser, which means you need to use the window dot on click, and just the way we had it on an element, we will do it on the window this time. And then again in the click event, you will get an E, which is the event, and you can do a console.log of E to see what you get as an event. Let me just open the console and let's try to run this. You do this, you get an event because you clicked something. Now let me click it again and you got another event. If you see, now in this event there are many things that you can see. Let me just open the console out here and try to see if we get the mouse event. Yes. Now if you see the mouse event, there is something called as a target here, and it says div myModal.modal. So when I clicked on the modal, it showed me a click event on the modal. Let me try to do that again. Let's clear the console. Let's click it again. So in this scenario, the click got me my modal again. I clicked the P tag. You can see. So if you want to make sure that the window doesn't close when you click on the event, you need to do some things. So what we will do is we will first check if the event.target is equal to the modal that we have, and then we do a modal.style.display is equals to none. So this should close your modal. Let's try to save this, run it, and now anywhere you click outside the window it will close, but when you click on the modal nothing will happen. You see that? Because we have this condition where target is equal to modal, and this entire thing is the modal div. Let me show you that as well. So when you do a Control-Shift-J, you go here and you see this. So this entire thing, entire class, the shaded area is the modal class. So when you click on the modal, which is the element that you got, this entire thing, only then it will close the div. You can see that, and that's the element you had, and that's what is moved to none. So this was a very simple example using JavaScript that you can create a modal. Of course, you can experiment anything with it, like put anything in the header, footer, or probably open and close buttons. And if you have a new variation of this, I'll love to see it. So you can ask me any questions you have in the comments or in the Q&A section. And you can, of course, connect with me in the Slack community, and I will always be there to answer your questions. I think that's good enough for this video. I'll see you in the next lecture.